to the Nasty Metal Production channel here at YouTube. Welcome to the first collection update of 2018. So, in this collection update, I'm basically going to be showing stuff that I gotten from like November, and what I gotten for Christmas, and what I gotten also in December and after Christmas, and of course the beginning of this year. So, without further ado, let's actually get into, well, showing the stuff. Let me definitely first show the first thing that I had bought in, I think like first hand from like December, I think. That of course is the box set version of Iron Maiden's The Book of Souls live chapter. I'm not going to go in and show the whole what's inside of here because of already there's been many videos detailing what's inside this box and so on. Definitely go and check out Chris at Vinyl Transmission. He did a whole box set showcase on this, showing you know, the figurine in here and the badge and stuff like that. So anyway, and of course I showed the album anyway in my the top 20 best albums of 2017. So I don't need to go into detail how good the album is or anything. But yeah, of course, since buying this, already people like the scalpers and everything are pretty much selling this for ridiculous amounts now, like 50 to then 70, 80, 100 bucks. It's ridiculous, but hey, they are the scalpers. That's what they fucking do. But I got it before, well, it ended up getting sold out or anything. I know there's still one copy left at the Walmart that I'm at still, but why not? I'm not going to buy a second copy. Leaving it there. Anyways, great. Alright, let's get into the two new albums. I had gotten this weird, so at least I don't have to talk about them, or though, even though I've done reviews for them. First one is of course Pounding the Pavement by Anvil. Killer album from Anvil. Definitely, I would say, is better than Anvil as Anvil, even though I liked Anvil as Anvil. Anvil, though, they definitely came back with a much stronger album. I don't need to say anything else because I already did a review, which I'll link you to right there. So, killer album from Anvil. Of course, Anvil or Anvil. And, of course, the second one here of all the new albums is Thunderbolt by Saxon. Again, I don't need to talk about it or go into any detail. This, of course, because I did a review. And, again, killer album from Saxon. I think in my review I definitely said I didn't know if it was better or, I don't know, maybe not as good as Battering Ram, but the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, yeah, this is actually surprisingly better than Battering Ram. It's definitely stronger, but definitely go and check out my review anyway because I go into more detail on the songs. Alright, so the other one thing, see that I bought in like December, that was before Christmas, which I don't know why I would even get one of these band stuff. Not that the band is bad. It's just, and it has guitar players that I like, but the thing is, I was not into the whole gimmick or whatever of the whole thing. That's of course just the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and you know, I only picked this up because at least it's one of their non-Christmas albums. I don't know, something with me and Christmas albums, even though their Christmas material isn't about Christmas. I mean, not about the whole what Christmas is seen today, but more what it was, like the whole birth of Christ and stuff like that. But, I don't know, just something about it just seemed too gimmicky for me and too, but again, the guitar players. It's got, of course, I know John Olivia from Sabotage, of course, and I think there was maybe two or other three members, I think, here that were also in Sabotage. Of course, the late Paul O'Neill also produced probably one of the best Sabotage albums, and that's, of course, is Hall of the Mountain King. But he also produced one of the war sounds look no further than Escape to Nowhere by Omen. But still, it's not bad. But I don't know if I'm going to listen to this all the time. Even though it's a non-Christmas album, there's definitely parts. So I think around the end or so, like, it just, to me, teeters and completely gets But there is at least 2 good tracks on here. I think it's like Prince Igor is at times almost has a bit of a Uriah Heep feel. I think that's the track because I only listened to this one time, even though it's not a bad listen. It's just not something I'm going to listen to all the time. But hey, can't say that I didn't try. Anyways, not a terrible release, but not something I'm going to listen to every time. Trans-Siberian Orchestra with Letters from the Labyrinth. Alright, so finally get to the ones I did get for Christmas, and I was so fucking happy to get these. These were definitely wantless when I first found these, and for a while, this band stuff really eluded me, even though I love listening to their stuff. It's just, I didn't own, but now I do. As of course is Obsessions, Martial Law, Scarred for Life, and, of course, Methods of Madness. These are, of course, all the recent reissues from last year. Basically, technically, the Scarred for Life and Methods of Madness are pretty much the same reissues as the Metal Mayhem reissues or so, I think, from, like, 2001, 2002, maybe. But the only difference here with the Interworld reissues is, of course, on Martial Law, which includes a demo version of Martial Law. And, hey, cool bonus. Just finally glad to have these. I already did reviews on these anyway during, like, Power Metal Month back in 2016, so I don't need to go into any great detail other than they're just killer releases, killer EP, killer 2 albums. If you want to listen to maybe show them better there. Of course, using the original artwork and everything. All I gotta say, just listen to Obsession. One of my favorite metal bands from the 1980s. That's all that needs to be said. Just glad to have them. Alright, so finally, stuff that I ended up getting after Christmas. Besides the pre-orders for like Saxon's Thunderbolt and Anvil's Pounding the Pavement. This, of course, is starting here with Tease, classic Canadian hard rock band. I only went with the debut for right now because it is their most heavier and hard rocking album, and it's a killer album. This, of course, it's a 2016 reissue. That, of course, is again like mini LP, and just a killer album. Probably I would say I would put this next to like Riot's Rock City or Narita, or even some of the best stuff from like even Y&T at the time, or Legs Diamonds Rock. Yeah, Diamond is a hard rock, and so on. It's just definitely by far probably the most heaviest and hard rocking album from Tease, because after this, they definitely would go into more like a poppier, almost soft, I don't know, just not nearly as hard rocking enough as this. Like, this is basically, for like 1976, this definitely would be considered pretty much early heavy metal in a way, because it definitely is just straight up hard and heavy, but that at times could also be very influential on like the whole new wave or British heavy metal movement. Still, great stuff from Tease. Of course, using even the original like Japanese pressing cover than the original Canadian one. Still, great stuff. Alright, so, coming up here, again, stuff I bought after Christmas, that's, of course, is, I showed these, and, even the Tease in in my first mail unpacking video, like, Unearthed Mail video of this year. And I can link you to that video right there. Anyways, this of course is Sorcery with Stunt Rock. Sorcery, not to be confused with the Chicago-based band, but this is the Sorcery out of Los Angeles, and this Sorcery is pretty much best known for being the band to do the whole Rocktober Blood soundtrack. But this, of course, was their first sound, and it was also a soundtrack as well to an Australian action movie called, well, Stunt Rock. You know, even though it's not nearly as soundtracky as one would think, it definitely plays out more like an actual album. This is definitely, again, probably next like Tease or even some of the heaviest stuff from Judas Priest back in the time. This is actually pretty damn rockin'. I'll say this is probably Sorcery's best, and I'll definitely get to just everything. It's raw sounding, but man, it's got a heaviness. This is just listen to the song Book of Magic. Such a heavy track, and would definitely think you like Stained Class era Judas Priest, literally. Like, and it was of course released in the same year as the other Chicago-based Sorcery's debut album, but the thing is, I think I kind of like the Los Angeles Sorcery more than the one that did Sinister Soldiers. Again, out of Chicago. It's the lyrical themes. I think it's almost ahead, even though they're not the first band to do a lot of the old satanic imagery. I think there are definitely like psychedelic bands before them. But in terms of hard rock and heavy metal, they are definitely the first hard rock / metal band that actually used the over-the-top satanic imagery before bands like Venom and even Merciful Fate came along. So that's definitely great. Of course, after that, I ended up getting the unreleased and, of course, second album from the same Sorcery. That's, of course, is titled 2, which was released on Old Metal Records. It's a mixed bag for me. Yeah, I think it has the singer that would go on to, like, Jafria. And that's the thing. It sounds more like Jafria than this album right here, or even the Rocktober Blood soundtrack, even though the Rocktober Blood soundtrack isn't, I don't think, as good as the Stunt Rock album, which very much is early heavy material. But this, it's okay, but it's not something, again, I'm going to pull out every time. I think if it was a tad bit harder rockin', I guess, a bit, I might, but there's at least maybe two, but the song Born to Rock is probably the best song on this whole entire album for me. But the rest of it, I don't know. It jumps around. Not because of production-wise, but mostly because it's not completely on... It's kind of AOR-ish, but if I want some good AOR, I want the heavier side of AOR. Something like Cobra or... just somewhere like that, I guess, for a good idea. But this, not really. And if Jafria sounds like this, of course, I'm probably not going to check out them anyways. Only got because of, well, it's Sorcery. Same one that also did the Rocktober Blood soundtrack. That's why I bought this. But, again, it's only a novelty at this point. But the Stunt Rock, yeah, it's a soundtrack, but at least it has some longevity, and at least it has enough backbone to it to keep me more interested, keeping me coming back to listen to it. Because again, heavy 70s for this album. This, not technically. So, that's why. Alright, get to the last ones here. Again, same one that I bought around the time that I ordered the Sorcery. As of course is Substratum out of Seattle, Washington. And of course is their debut album. And here is of course their new album, Permission to Rock, which is the first new album I ever bought on cassette. And I bought them both on Bandcamp. And I did a review already for Permission to Rock. And again, I'll link you right there to that review. And of course I talk about, even that review, talk about a bit of this debut, which is, if I have to say anything, you really aren't doing yourself any bad things going after any of these out. And if this is your first one, or this is the first one you get, you're still getting one killer band. Killer metal band out of Seattle. Definitely one of the best female-fronted metal bands that come out in recent times. Alright, so that's it for this. I think pretty much the album, the EP was done, which was, of course, was Mr. Wilfred. I downloaded this off of Bandcamp and made a little mini LP style thing. Spanish hard rock band, released back in 2013, titled Rocket, and again, killer 4-track hard rock EP. Anyways, that's it for this collection update of 2018. If you have listened to some of these and know about some of this stuff, definitely let me know what you thought, what I had showed. Anyways, this is Heavy Thrasher saying I'm out, and I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.